She got infinite memory. It's okay, guys.
I sure don't. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Lisa. This is Avengers Nerd. Let's get into it. And this is for all those people who are not familiar or not generally familiar with the Marvel series. We're just gonna do some general info so you guys could get up to date and see the movie. You'll have a lot of information even if you haven't seen the previous movies. I have some of my friends. Who are you?
Hey guys, I'm Anthony. Nice to meet y'all. Meet y'all, pretty much. I'll be talking about pretty much my opinions on Civil War as a whole. Although I might not be as in-depth as some of these guys over here, because you guys are like comic experts. Especially this guy. So I'll let him introduce himself because he's probably be doing most of the talking.
Not really, but I'm JD. I know some stuff. Really, we're just gonna try to explain a little bit of it for someone who might just be interested in comic movies, but you know, might not know or understand everything that connects together, because there's a lot of pieces going into this movie. This is like the 11th movie in the series, so there's a lot. Well, probably more. But there's a lot to dissect. So, yeah.
And my name is Jonathan.
So where are we right now in this whole series that's leading up to major movie?
Okay, so Captain America Civil War is the beginning of phase 3 of the Marvel movies. So pretty much there are 3 phases. And if you've been paying attention, there's phase 1, which starts with Iron Man 1. And it goes from Iron Man 1 to Incredible Hulk to Iron Man 2 to Thor, the first Thor movie.
Which sucked.
That is not relevant.
Yeah.
He's
not lying though.
It was a terrible movie.
When you say the Incredible Hulk movie though, do you mean
I mean the Incredible Hulk with there's Hulk, and then there's the Incredible Hulk, and the Incredible Hulk is the good one, Hulk is the bad one.
Hulk is the one that people remember.
With the comic book screens, and there was like there's a fight in the clouds.
Yeah.
And no one saw the fight.
Nobody saw the movie. That
was terrible.
No one ever sees anything.
But that was part of phase 1. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there. But like I said, Iron Man 2, Thor, and then Captain America, the first Avenger, and then it culminated in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And then phase 2 was Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy was in between the last 2, but anyway, and then Avengers 2, and then capped that off. Yeah.
Are you talking specifically like timeline?
I'm just.
That was phase 2. He just.
Well, actually, yeah, and then it capped off with Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was still phase 2, or
yeah,
was
Ant-Man is still phase 2.
Okay, that was kind of weird. I think
because
Ultron should have been the end of phase 2.
Ant-Man was supposed to come out before, but then there was that whole director change and stuff. And it came out before, so then that's why that happened the way it happened. But they kind of made good with it because of the way that he ties into everything. It feels a little separated, but
Surprisingly good movie.
yeah, it's really good. That movie was really good. I'm about to rewatch it.
But then now it's
Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Ant-Man,
Yeah. I saw that the other day. I was like, you know what? I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but Ant-Man, when he shrunk down to
spoiler alert.
Yeah, I was
spoiler alert.
Guys,
that's not even a spoiler.
I'm
if you know anything about
but I'm talking about
subatomic.
Yeah.
Well, see,
but it's okay.
Now that's
It's okay. I'll
They
put
said spoiler
that
alert like 2
before.
seconds ago.
now you spoiled it though.
It's fine.
Yeah.
She
It wasn't spoiled.
It's too late. You'll be
edit
alright.
in some messages.
You'll be alright.
Here's a one-on-one. If it's after spoiler alert, if you don't stop the video right then, it's your fault.
Or just skip forward to the end.
It's your fault.
Sure.
I know it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Anyway, when he became subatomic, how come he could put that chip in and then get bigger? Why didn't a woman think of that?
Well, because I don't know. I honestly don't.
I thought that was such.
The thing is, I've only seen that movie once, so I can't I know at the time when I saw it, it made sense to me, but it's been so long where I can't like explain it to why.
We have to see it.
I saw it twice and I didn't understand. But you know what? I'm gonna have to pay specific attention to when the old guy is talking to
Like it might
when
have
he's
been
talking to him because
I mean-
he might have said something in between there
Yeah.
that I kind of probably
You
tuned
saw
out.
it, Anthony?
So
Yeah.
Okay.
because I felt like that was
I
a
think-
cheap shot. Like
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, it's partially Deus Ex Machina, right? Like, where the movie has to end this way.
Describe what Deus Ex Machina means.
God is in the machine, right? So, like, the machine being like the movie, like the whole system. Basically, the writers can decide whatever.
when anything random happens and you can't explain it, that's Deus Ex Machina.
Okay.
But
It's not even like random. It's just like there could have been a better option.
right.
But
But we
I,
got-
but I
They just popped
understand.
out, yes.
every time like Goku wins, it's usually Deus Ex Machina.
That is-
I mean, it's just
Not
like
maybe. Well, if we were
I mean,
getting
yeah, I'm
into, like,
just
anime,
yeah, I'm
stuff,
just talking. I'm just giving a general example.
Alright, back on track.
Anyway,
But
that's hilarious.
so with Ant-Man, but they kind of did that obviously to hint at the fact that he can grow big. So it's like I'm sure we'll see more of that.
Does Ant-Man grow big?
Yes, because there's Ant-Man and then there's Giant Man, and they're both the same character, but it's like when he grows big, he becomes Giant
I
Man.
don't know that was same character.
Yeah, that was in the show, man.
yeah, it was. It was.
But the thing is, like, I feel like once he became Giant Man, people started emphasizing the giant part.
Well,
way
because
more.
the giant part is the cool.
Because everyone's like, oh, he gets big, and then
It's
he gets
like-
bopped by
Yeah.
freaking Hulk. What do you guys? He got busted.
Well,
Okay, so for anybody that doesn't understand, go watch. Just look it up on YouTube. The Ultimate Avengers is an animated movie, and this came out years before the Avengers cinematic movies came out. But pretty much, there's a scene where the Avengers are trying to fight the Hulk because he went rabid, and he wrecks a lot of stuff.
And his kneecap gets wrecked.
But it's very good. It's actually like that movie was kind of like the basis of why the first Avengers movie works so well anyway.
But then you have Civil War, which is the first movie, right?
Yeah, so
First movie is phases.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now phases. When you say phases, though, before we get into phases, why we're in phase 3. Can you explain what a phase is? Like, obviously they're chronological. We're
Yeah.
gonna explain them, but what separates phase 1, 2, and 3?
It's pretty much just timing and I guess like a theme. So like the first phase was assembling the team, right?
Backstory of the characters.
And phase 2, I don't really know how to explain it, but it kind of showed a lot of. It had a lot to do with the Infinity Stones.
I think
Right.
phase 2 was more like developing conflict. Like phase 1 was
Right.
introductory of the characters.
Right.
Okay, then phase 2 is like
Basic
conflict
storytelling,
within the
right.
characters.
Basic storytelling with the introduction
And then
like you.
the climax kind of.
Right.
But
even though it's kind of weird because technically the climax of all these will come at the end.
Yeah.
So like we're building and building and building,
Like one
but
massive
we just keep going up and up and up and up.
Yeah,
we haven't gone down.
But
Well,
the
yeah,
thing-
exactly. It's just gonna fall off
But
because
like-
the movie's gonna like be the last movie and that's gonna be it. So
Well, there's gonna be books and
But I mean,
stuff.
just like a comic though, they keep introducing a lot of threads. So like I said, like they have been like phase 2 is very much about that conflict, but certain movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor: The Dark World, they were a little bit more isolated, but they dealt heavily with the cosmic aspect, and we're getting big into this because at the end of the first Avengers, you see Thanos, who in Marvel is like the big boss. He's like the final boss, think of it that way, like the big bad that they have to fight. And the Infinity Stones have been kind of seeded in all of the Marvel movies, well, most of the Marvel movies, leading up to now. And interestingly about Civil War, it doesn't necessarily, like, at least on its face, there might be something in there that,
End credit scene,
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, as far as
It's
we
not
know right
based
now, it
around
has
it.
nothing to do with that, so you don't have to worry about the...
Which is why I love this movie so much. It's
Yeah.
like it kind of departs away and like dives into the character a lot more. And that's what I'm enjoying about this movie.
So let's
In theory, we haven't watched it yet, obviously.
let's talk about Civil War specifically. Get into storylines.
Spider-Man. Most important aspect.
That is
of the movie.
That is true, but not true all at the
That's-
same time.
Yeah.
Spider-Man fan myself.
I know.
Did you dig the red? The red
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Team Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, usually I
There is
play
no-
Miles Morales, but, you know, regular
You
Spider-Man's
really
cool.
good though.
I cosplayed as Miles Morales before.
Oh yeah, that's true. I remember now.
That aside, Spider-Man, that was the only thing I was waiting for to see
Everyone
Civil
was
War.
just waiting for Spider-Man.
That was the only, I was like, it won't be
But-
correct
But to be honest, first of
without
all,
him in there.
do you think they should have put him in the trailer?
Well, they did.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm saying, do you
Should
think
they?
they should?
Yeah.
I mean, well,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
No, I
think
don't
it was,
think
I think it was,
so.
I think it was a great reveal, but it was just enough to get people interested. It didn't show anything about.
You know what I hate right now?
No.
They're showing too much in the movie.
I've only seen the
Correct me if I'm wrong. There are 3 trailers.
yeah.
Like, and each trailer goes into something different. Like,
I mean, they
it adds
generally
a
show
little
the
bit
same
more,
stuff,
a little bit more, a little
Yeah,
bit
but
more.
there's like
I
too
just,
much now.
it's too much.
It's
too
no,
much. I
the
felt
problem
like-
the problem now is that after the trailers were fine, but then after the trailers, like they finished with the last trailer, then they've been showing clips of the movie, like minute-long clips, and I personally don't want to see
Wait,
them.
they're showing minute-long
Yeah,
clips
they're-
after the trailer.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
these are like on the internet.
Yeah,
It's like
like
there'll be
everything.
clips of like the Black Panther chase scene, and it's like a little bit like it's still not a lot, but it's still
Yeah.
enough to make you be like I like stay away from it.
Yeah,
So
you can't watch
like
it.
I kind of shut myself up from as much as possible, but I have a lot of coworkers who are like,
It's like people are. The
I was
only
watching
reason I know about
Agents
Spider-Man
yesterday, and I saw Captain America come. I'm like, why?
well, it was like it was like a 30-second trailer
Commercial.
that
It was
had,
still more than I wanted to see. That's
Yeah.
all my point.
But the point being, like normally I worry with those kind of things, but I feel like with the Marvel movies, they do a good job of making you think that you've seen it and then you really haven't.
That's true.
that is true, but I feel like they oversaturated this movie because they've never done so much for any of their movies,
But
and
they
I feel like
kinda
it's
have to.
too much.
But like, and
But
I
no, but
agree.
it stands on its own. To be honest, like if you've been going with the whole series, you don't need somebody to even tell you
They
like
try to
go
set
to
Fox
see
off.
this.
Yeah, they're
like
Yeah, but the thing is, you also have to
That's crazy.
well, the way that I think about it, Batman v Superman just came out and we didn't like them. I didn't like them.
no one
That's
does it,
another
but
video.
it's-
But but they you know, there's a lot of people who might have seen that movie and were like, oh, that other movie's probably gonna suck too. And from what I
I mean,
I don't think
some
anyone-
people,
I don't think anyone's
but the
thinking
thing is,
that.
the lady doesn't understand that there are 2 different things. Because I was in the movies the other day and they were like, you know, they don't understand that Batman and Superman and Captain America and Iron Man aren't in the same universe, and they don't understand any of that.
That's
They just-
crazy.
they
Okay,
see
well,
Superhero
yeah.
movies.
Okay, so looking at it from like a marketing perspective, right? Like, of course not. No, the people that you're trying to get into the movie theater are not the hardcore fans. So the hardcore fans, are gonna
Yeah,
see
you
it
already
anyway.
have them. Yeah.
Like
That's
Batman vs Superman,
Day one,
I-
they're
like
gonna
Batman
see it.
vs Superman. Like as soon as we saw the trailers, we obviously knew like it wasn't going to be that great. We still went and saw it anyway, right?
Yeah.
We still paid money for it. The people that are trying to get into the movie theaters are those people who don't know about the universe, right? And they're gonna try to show as many like
enticing. things.
enticing clips
Yeah.
as they possibly can. And one of those things is obviously Spider-Man. He's
Yeah.
super
And
recognizable.
Spider-Man,
As soon as they see
Spider-Man
them,
in
they're
his
like,
like original
like-
suit, which
And
looks better
also,
than
Spider-Man is so popular with the kids. It's like the kids'
Yeah.
best Marvel hero. So they see Spider-Man, they're like, "Mommy, Daddy, I gotta go see this movie."
That's
They got
true.
all the parents and the kids buying tickets for this movie.
And that's
All
why
at once.
that little
That's true.
and that's why that little piece I don't mind. It's just like I don't like when studios in general show more than the trailers.
Well, yeah,
Because
I have another
I
point
just
to make
understand.
on that, right? So, like, obviously the people who are going to be watching all the little clips and stuff are going to be people who are super hardcore about it, right? So that's going the opposite direction.
Yeah, but even
but that said, like, if this is going to be a 2.5-hour movie, which I am pretty sure it's going to be a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
If you show like four 1-minute clips or whatever, you're really
It's
still
not
not
that-
seeing all that.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a trailer format where they're showing all the best part, like all the highlights.
But it's action
but
part.
I
different
doubt
action
But are they
parts.
showing like clips of like just flashing? like, all that? It's not a trailer.
It's slightly extended
Trailer
action
content.
parts that were in the trailers.
Yeah,
already.
like
So it's like if you watch the trailer and you
So-
like the action scenes you
Get
see in
more
the trailer,
context.
they show slightly a bit more. It's like you're not seeing anything brand new.
Yeah, so I feel like that's not the worst thing. Like if they're just kept releasing different scenes every single time, then I'd be like, well, you're killing your movie.
I just, I like Spider-Man. I like Black Panther.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, Black Panther. So when they said that, I was like, no, work never stops. Psych, cut it out.
I know, it's gone. It's all these.
Anyway, so like, what are you guys expecting to see in this movie?
Who wants to start?
Me.
Stop it, Spider-Man. No, go ahead.
That is who I expect to see.
How long do you think Spider-Man's gonna actually be on screen?
What was that?
Anyway, cool. He looked like he was like looking above my head. I don't know, like who he's talking to.
But how long do you think Spider-Man's actually gonna be on screen, like in the movie?
Maybe like 30 minutes.
Really? I think less.
I think that's a lot.
I think he's.
I'm assuming it's 2.5 hours, so
Yeah.
30 minutes.
I'm gonna
the
say
last 30 minutes.
I'm kind of with that idea too, because they can't. First of all, if Spider-Man is in this movie, they can't just drop him like, oh hey, like he won't be in the beginning, but they can't drop him for 5 minutes and be like, oh hey, Spider-Man's in this movie, and then like where does he go?
Here's my
That would be
opinion.
stupid.
Captain America doesn't expect his shield to be taken away. Oh, who is that guy? On the Ruse, whatever.
He says
And then
first
he-
of all,
and
he says
then-
Underoos.
Underoos.
Which is probably a
Whatever.
nickname he gives him.
Cool.
But I'm sure that's not the first time you're going to see Peter Parker / Spider-Man. That's probably when the first time you're going to see Spider-Man.
But it's
Yeah,
a
that's like
surprise
probably
to Team
Yeah.
Cap.
Yeah, of course.
So-
but the thing is,
I'm speculating that you're not going to see too much of him because Team Cap doesn't know about his existence. Yeah, so
I agree. But like,
that's my 2 cents.
I
So
think
no one-
he's not going to be in the movie a lot, but I've heard good things about his performance just from
Who's the actor playing?
Tom Holland. Yeah.
So no one knows about Spider-Man.
Yeah. So in the
How do you-
MCU, the way that it worked is that the way that they framed it, like the directors and the writers. And stuff,
MCU's Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way that they framed it was that during the first Avengers attacks, Peter Parker was a kid who,
Right.
after those attacks, became a big fan of Tony Stark, and has since grown up, and of course had this life-changing event happen to him where he gets
Right.
these powers, and that's kind of like the precursory setup for where he is as a character before he gets introduced to everybody else. Now this is not Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man 2. This is not Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. This is a completely different
This is real
rebooted
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
No,
but
Nah, it's a different unit. It's a
yeah,
different.
it's a
I
different
feel like this is.
universe. And like the thing is, it's a little bit more accurate because people
Although-
might not know
I would
that.
have liked to see Tobey Maguire.
Just
He would have ruined
That-
the movie, but like,
I mean,
it would have been funny.
That
he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. But either way, like, so a lot of people might not understand how Spider-Man is supposed to be younger, even though he calls himself Spider-Man. He's supposed to be a student when he's first introduced. Now,
High school student.
high school student, yeah.
Yeah.
So, this movie is based off of a comic book story, but it's not not great. It's not a one-to-one translation of that story.
Yeah.
And in the Civil War comic, Spider-Man was an adult. He was a man. He was married, or whatever. But here, like, they're first introducing him, and I think that based on the story that they're trying to tell, it probably makes more sense for this to be the way that it is.
Can I mention as a side note before we move on? I'm so happy that Marvel took the reins of the reins from Sony to really make their own movie. Because
Spider-Man.
yeah, because Amazing Spider-Man, I was not that big of a fan.
No, me neither.
And Spider-Man 3 was
Yeah.
horrendous. I love 2 and 1, but finally Marvel
I
is
still
gonna
prefer.
hopefully.
I still prefer Andrew Garfield.
I prefer him because he gets closer to what I feel like Spider-Man is.
Andrew Garfield has a better Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire has a better
Peter Parker.
Agreed.
That's
Agreed.
true.
The thing that I want people to understand is, like, this movie, even though it's essentially Avengers 2.5, at the end of the day, it's still a Captain America movie. And I hold those movies in pretty high regard because I feel like some of those movies are some of the better movies in the whole cinematic universe.
They're the
usually
best.
Captain America
Let's not play
movies
that.
are used to set the bar for the other movies.
Yeah.
Specific dates.
And there's you know, people can argue. People like some people don't like the first Avenger a lot. I like that movie a lot, but some people don't. Winter Soldier, I would say, is ranked by most to be in the upper echelon of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So with this movie, you know, part of what I was worried about is that they would lose some of that special flair to what went into making Winter Soldier so good, because that movie was very focused and it had a lot of elements and intrigue. And I feel like as long as they can find a balance to make it a Captain America movie, but also Avengers movie, which is kind of like it's serving both purposes.
Yeah.
If it can do that, then I think it'll be an outstanding achievement.
From the trailers, I feel like they're doing a good job in balancing that, because from what I can tell, they're starting with Bucky and they're talking about that relationship, and that is the whole thing we all wanted to see after right. So I feel like they're gonna start with that and then move into this, which is I'm gonna assume that they're gonna do a good job with the transition, because even with them transitioning to an Avengers section, I feel like it's still gonna be based heavily on like what Captain America thinks and, you know,
because
I think the narrative will be told mostly from his point of view.
Yeah.
With Captain America's perspective being like we can't pretty much stop the, you know, everything before it happens. We kind of have to just you know we have to
deal with it as it comes.
As opposed to just like locking everybody down. There was this like thing I read about how Captain America in these movies is kind of like a warmonger in a very light way. Ultron, like when Scarlet Witch goes into everybody's heads and make them see something they fear. In Captain America's mind, and the war was over, and that was what was bothering him. Like, what does Captain America do when there's no war?
Right. He was built for it.
Yeah, and it's not that he doesn't want war to be over, but it's that he doesn't know how to operate once it is.
But you know, honestly, but I think the real reason,
it's like a personal thing.
The real reason that happened is if you look at Captain America, the first Avenger. If you look at that, he never really finished his fight. Like, they made him to be a soldier. Like this, now he's like this big guy, and he never fought for like the majority of the war. And then when he finally fought, it got cut short, and he never technically saw the end of the war. Mm-hmm. So technically, it never ended, but it did end. You know, and like things
he got thrown into something else, which is even more epic and scary.
So I think you're making a good point with the warmonger thing. I think he is just always going to be on that. Like, that's never going to be resolved for him. He's always going to want conflict in some way, you know. So.
And I feel like that might be Tony Stark's angle in this, which makes him a lot more easy to identify with than in the comic. Because in the comic, they made Tony Stark pretty much into the villain.
The villain,
And I feel like in these movies, he might be a lot more empathetic because of that.
Which is crazy.
Okay, here's one of my opinions about the movie. Marvel has a daunting task to make this movie, because Civil War was this big comic book story with many moving parts and many different character stories. If you actually have the whole story of the comic book, it's like many different comics. So I'm a little bit worried and concerned how they might try to fit everything in.
Well, I don't think they're gonna adapt everything.
Not everything.
This is it. Like they've kind of really made it its own thing anyway.
Streamline the concept, you know, to really for the fans to really get the significance of Civil War. Because my understanding is that after this movie's over, like Civil War as an arc is probably not going to continue on to any other Marvel movies. So to get one movie to get it right, it's a difficult task. But I think Marvel's up to it with the Team Cap.
Team Cap, Team Iron Man.
But it's like, the side I'm choosing in this movie does not necessarily have to do with their opinions in this movie. It's just like, Cap's my dude, so I ride with Cap.
Loyalty.
But that being said, what you to understand is that they want you to pick a side, but during the movie their goal is to make you question if you're on the right side or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a really, I'm interested to see how they pull that off, and I think that they will. Just given the fact that like we've now seen these characters for so many years that it's like we have a emotional attachment to certain people.
You feel like you know them.
So it's like yeah, exactly. So you're going to you don't want to completely write off Tony Stark because just like unless you just don't like him
But it's weird because relatable. Thank you. Because he's such a jerk. Like he's never been relatable.
I mean, I think he is to a certain degree because it's like it's easy to humanize him.
I don't think they're making him relatable. I just think it makes it easier for people to empathize with his cause, right? So he can still be the same Tony Stark, but whatever he stands for.
His cause is more relatable, maybe.
Yeah, like when he's
I
guess
that's
for at the very base, like he can be a complete like jerk.
Right.
About how he carries it out. But what he stands for is still the same. So certain people will just feel okay. I'm with that. And me personally, like I think I'm pro registration. Like this, like shooting, like from the top of my head.
Well, the thing
I'd probably be Iron Man side. I don't like Tony Stark as a character. I mean, I think Iron Man's really cool, but I think Spider-Man's cool.
Why do you think it's the Spider-Man's kind of sway?
you do know in the comics Spider-Man switched sides.
Yes.
And then
But the thing is, in the comics, the reason why he switched sides. So Spider-Man being in these movies is very
sides.
Well, that's not necessarily going to happen in this movie. We don't know.
It's probably not.
The thing is, in the comics, Spider-Man was a very pivotal character because it was kind of like it became known to be a foretold thing that whatever side Spider-Man was in was going to win. And it ended up being Captain America's side because in the comics, Tony Stark was a lot more violent and like he was capturing superheroes that weren't signing up, and he was responsible for the death of a couple of superheroes, and he even called a hit on Spider-Man when Spider-Man was like, I'm out. And he tried to have him killed or beat up or pretty much. But I don't think that that's going to be the case here, but I do think that Spider-Man's role is going to be kind of similar where he might be the character that brings him back or stops the fight, or maybe not stops the fight, but like he's like the center, the moral center.
Yeah, like he's trying to get the best of both worlds. Like Spider-Man, especially if you consider his character in this movie being a high school student and like still being kind of like morally ambiguous, trying to figure out what he stands for. Right, he can think his hero is cool, and then he'll probably get disillusioned. If this happens, right, he can get disillusioned with Tony Stark and the way he's doing things, and the way he's doing things affects more Spider-Man's defection to Captain America's side than.
Whose side are you on?
Now, I've always been, in regards to Civil War, a Captain America fan. Not Captain America fan, but on Captain America's side. Although, I'm kind of watching this movie, how it's developing so far, pre-movie. I'm just kind of think Captain America is a little bit emotional when it comes to his decisions in regards to this movie. Not in a comic book.
I agree.
And I feel like the
really emotional.
Yeah.
Like all his decisions.
Yeah, but the humans have a legitimate fear. Like all this crap is going down through the Avengers. New York got destroyed. DC got destroyed. The city, I forget the name of the city. Sokovia got destroyed. Harlem got destroyed.
Let's not forget Harlem.
And let's not forget Harlem. Because humans are fearful. Like these superheroes, like we don't have these powers, are out of control. And the Captain America, like, it doesn't matter. I know it's not that cut and dry, but like, it doesn't matter. I gotta fight for my friend, and I'm like, okay, it's deeper than that, obviously. But you can understand why Iron Man, Tony Stark. It's like, so we have to do something differently because these things are just gonna keep happening. And like David mentioned earlier, we can't just keep fighting it when it happens because the city is just gonna get destroyed and leveled every single time.
But how is registering superheroes and or locking them up going to change that?
I mean, it's the same.
It makes them like a task force.
So I know this is going over across universes, right? Across different universes. But in DC, Batman is the same.
I was gonna say that.
In DC, Batman was the same thing. Like he literally has people in.
But I feel like the difference with Batman is that he has set up like what do you call it? Like
Contingency plans.
Right.
Yeah.
He set them up.
He didn't
so
actually-
it executes when something happens.
Well, but this is
I feel
more-
like if you
Well, he
register
executes
someone,
it when something happens. Yeah, that's true.
But
but
this is more of
I'm
a
not
case where
preventative.
the
I'm
gov-
saying that's a microcosm of what's happening
Yeah,
in Civil
yeah.
War. Tony Stark, obviously being very high on the jerk factor, blows it up, right? So I think very often of Batman and Tony Stark to be similar in terms of like the characters that
it's
they
just
represent.
Batman's
in
not
the universe.
very vocal.
Batman's just like more like introvert or whatever.
But to answer the question, I'm still Team Cap.
I wouldn't say it's smarter, but
Yeah.
I mean they're both geniuses.
I'm still Team Cap, but I could identify a little bit more than I used to with Iron Man side.
Well, the thing,
which is why I'm excited for this movie, because I want to see how it plays out. But you know,
I'm not-
Iron Man's more realistic about it, and I think Captain America is just like, no, we gotta fight. You can liberty, but you know, freedom. And
He just brings realism to like
not
too
always so
far.
cut and
which
dry.
I feel like
He's
when
like
I see
brings
the movie, I'll
maybe 20
probably
years.
think like, oh, okay, I can see. But right now I'm like, no, this is ridiculous.
So that's why everyone like
That's also why the
goal
movie's
of the
great,
movie.
because I think if people just based on the comic book, almost everyone will be, unless you're a Tony Stark fan, like most people will be Captain America. But this, the way that they're framing it is like, is he really the good side? Is that really the right side you should choose? And it's kind of inching you towards, like if you can inch me towards the other side, at least thinking about it.
Right.
And it's doing a good job in kind of not polarizing everyone to one side, but.
But I want to see how they make Iron Man and his character and what he's saying, like his whole plan. Because in the comics, he is like super jerky.
Basically he's a
He's
pseudo
not-
villain. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not cool.
like, you know-
and that's why people don't really like that. So in this movie, I don't
He's
feel
not
like
gonna be
that's
like
the
that.
yeah.
But it's like the thing
So
is,
I
I
don't-
feel like in some interesting way, this might be as much of a turning point for Tony Stark's character as it might be for Cap's, because Tony Stark throughout the last few movies has been going through some sense of PTSD because of what happened at the end of Avengers when he was in space and he saw everything, and he's like super OCD about protecting everybody. And
I'm super excited. You guys let me know what you're excited about in the comments, and let me know if you're gonna go see the movie, when you're gonna go see it. Are you gonna see it on opening day? All that jazz. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I make new videos every Sunday.
Week, every week,
Something
right?
like that.
And we might come back one of these days.
One of these days.
One of these days.
Okay, one of these days.
I promise.
Lies. He's coming back. He's coming back, guys. Don't worry about it. Anyway, guys, I will check you in my next video. I wanted to say happy birthday to whoever is celebrating their birthday now. Leave a comment below if it's your birthday or if you know that it's someone's birthday. So happy birthday. Yay.
And then share this video with that person so that they know
I
that we're
expected to
wishing
make
them
a sound.
happy birthday. Yeah, I thought it was gonna make a birthday.
I know, I thought it was going to make sound too.
This is actually very anticlimactic.
yeah.
I'm sorry,
Well,
guys.
thank you.
I thought it was going to make sound.
Happy
Next
birthday.
time it's going to make sound. Happy birthday. I'll put that in. Bye, guys.